Welcome back. Okay, let me ask you something. Have you ever stared at a word problem and just your brain completely freezes up? Yeah, it happens to all of us. But what if I told you there's a simple, almost ridiculously effective secret to cutting right through all that confusion and just finding the answer? Stick with me, because we're going to break it down. All right, take a look at this. Mr. Vroman had a rectangular vegetable garden. He decided to increase the size by making the length twice that of the original garden and the width 3 times that of the original garden. How many times as large as the original garden is the new garden? Whoa, it's a classic wall of text, right? You've got length, width, twice this, 3 times that. It is a lot to juggle in your head all at once. Now, your first instinct might be to just start multiplying numbers, but it's so easy to get tangled up in the words.
Exactly. Where do you even start? When a problem is thrown at you like this, it can feel more like a riddle than a math question. And honestly, it's kind of designed to be a little intimidating. But don't worry, because we have a secret weapon.
So let's reframe this whole thing. This isn't just a math problem, it's the garden riddle. And you know, like any good riddle, the solution is usually way simpler than you think.
So, what is this secret weapon? I'll tell you what it's not. It's not some fancy calculator, and it's not a complicated formula you have to memorize. It's a pen and a piece of paper. You see, the real secret to solving these tricky word problems is to stop thinking so hard about it and start drawing it.
Let's actually see this power in action. We're going to take that confusing jumble of words about Mr. Vroman's garden and turn it into something so simple anyone could solve it in like 10 seconds.
Okay, so watch how this builds. Step 1, we just draw a simple rectangle. Boom! That's the original garden. Easy enough, right? Now the problem says the length is doubled, so we just stretch our box to be twice as long. And finally, it says the width is tripled, so we'll just stack 2 more rows right on top. And just like that, the solution becomes crystal clear. By sketching it out, we've totally transformed the problem. It's not about abstract numbers floating around in our heads anymore. We can literally see the answer right there in front of us.
The new garden is exactly 6 times as large as the original. Look at that! No complicated algebra needed, just a simple drawing and counting. The answer is just 6. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, that worked for a garden, but what about other kinds of problems? And that is a great question, because this technique, it is incredibly versatile. Let's tackle a couple more. Here's our next puzzle. Saleem planted trees 50 feet apart along a 200-foot driveway. How many trees did he plant? Now, the immediate temptation here, for almost everyone, is to just divide 200 by 50 and get 4. But is that the right answer? Let's not trust our mental math, let's draw it out.
And see, the sketch instantly exposes the trap. We just draw a line for the 200-foot driveway. Now, the common mistake is forgetting about the tree at the very beginning, the one at the 0-foot mark. But when we draw it out, one at the start, then one at 50, 100, 150, and 200 feet, the picture makes it completely impossible to miss.
And there it is. The answer is 5 trees, not 4. The sketch just saved us from a really common, really simple error. All right, let's ramp up the difficulty a little bit. Here's the challenge. How many 3-inch by 2-inch boxes can fit in a 9-inch by 15-inch carton? Now, this one has a fun little twist, because how you arrange the boxes actually matters. We're looking for the absolute maximum number we can squeeze in there.
So we actually have 2 different plans we need to compare. In method A, all the boxes are lined up nice and neat, all in the same direction. But in method B, we're allowed to turn the boxes, to fit them in more cleverly. Let's see which one is actually better.
So if we look at method A, the diagram shows we can fit 3 rows of 7 boxes each. 3 times 7 gives us 21 boxes. That seems like a solid, logical answer. But can we do better? Yes, we can. It turns out, by turning some of those boxes sideways, just like in the second diagram, we can actually manage to squeeze in 1 extra box. The grand total is 22. Now, this is something that would be incredibly difficult, if not impossible to figure out in your head. But with a drawing, the better solution becomes obvious. So here's the crucial takeaway. The diagram didn't just give us an answer, it helped us find the best answer. It allowed us to compare 2 different strategies visually, side by side, and see which one was just plain more efficient.
And this simple act of drawing, it really isn't just a math trick. It's a genuine problem-solving superpower that you can apply pretty much anywhere.
So why is this so incredibly effective?
Well, because a sketch turns abstract words and numbers into concrete shapes that you can actually see and mess with. It takes all those scattered bits of information and organizes them into one single coherent picture. And as we saw, this simple act can reveal the path to the solution and help us avoid those silly mental math errors. But maybe most importantly, it builds confidence. I mean, when you can see the problem, you feel like you can actually solve it.
And that's really the heart of it all, captured perfectly right here. The plan is always the same. Don't just think, draw. Get it out of your head and onto the page. Because once you can see it and compare your options, the path forward often becomes totally clear.
So, I'll leave you with this question. Forget about math for just a second. Think about planning a big project, or organizing your schedule, or even figuring out a really difficult decision. What complex problem in your life could you simplify right now with just a simple sketch? Thanks for watching.